Bike rental startup Bounce raises $105 million in its fourth round of funding led by Axel Partners and B Capital along with existing investors. The funds will be used to focus on electric vehicle integration. Money transfer company MoneyGram announces a strategic partnership with non-banking finance group Lulu Money. It will use MoneyGram's API-driven platform to gain access to consumer-centric capabilities and expand its global network. Reproductive health brand Krista raises 10 crore rupees in a pre-Series A round led by the family office of Ruchirans and Anurag Jaipuria. Funds will be used to build an end-to-end reproductive health platform. Startup investments in India touch a record high in 2019 with $7.9 billion invested across 610 deals. This as per an IVC-AEY report.
Those were the headlines. On what's brewing today, bike rental startup Bounce has raised $105 million in its fourth round of funding. It was led by B Capital Group along with Axel Partners India. Other existing investors also participated in this round. And with this round, Bounce has now raised a total of over $194 million, taking the valuation of the startup to over $500 million. This will also see Kabir Narang, general partner and co-head of Asia at B Capital Group, become a part of the Bounce board. To know more about this fundraising, we are now joined by Kabir himself and Varun Agni, co-founder and CTO at Bounce. Varun and Kabir, welcome on the show. Varun, let me come to you first. Firstly, congrats on this large round of funding. You've been talking about EV plans at Bounce for some time. How much of this funding will go into that? And in fact, when we last met, you had said that Bounce will have 30 to 40% EVs in its fleet by end of 2020. Are you on track for that?
Yeah, Mugdha. Hi. Thanks for having me on the show. We have been focusing on the EV platform. We have about 250 bikes on the EV segment right now, and we are adding about 1,000 by the end of the month. So we do have the EV plans already in pipeline, and with the new round of funding, we will definitely be adding a lot more investment in the EV and expansion side. This round of funding will also be fueling our profitability and our platform play, which we have in mind, which will actually bring a lot of complementary services around mobility together on one app and really give the users a plethora of options to choose from. As far as EV is concerned, we are investing heavily on the technology and the infrastructure setup that is required for EV to grow.
The plans are on track to add more EVs. Kabir, let me come to you that, along with Axel, you've led this round of funding for Bounce. You've told me before that Bounce is a transformative business. Tell me what has impressed you the most about their model?
At some level, you're seeing the power of the sharing economies work across different models. And I think here in the two-wheeler segments is no different. If you look at a place like India, there are about 20 million two-wheelers sold every year. And often they're not the best utilized from asset utilization standpoint. So I think a model like Bounce is very powerful in terms of just much better asset utilization. I think second is it's transformative because I think if you think about the founders and the team, very mission-driven, and a big part of that mission is how do you democratize transportation in the country. And I think that whole mission of making sure you've got both convenience and affordability for millions of commuters, I think that's transformative. I think if you look at just the number of lives this could impact, if the model scales, right now it's really in Bangalore and Hyderabad, but there are about 200 million commuters in India with a license to ride a two-wheeler. They're often, take a city like Bangalore, right now Bounce is touching roughly about over the 120K rides per day. That's really less than 0.2% of rides that are taking place in the city. So I think it's just the journey has just begun, and it's got an ability to really impact both multiple lives. I think more importantly, it's also an interesting segment which is doing good. It's doing good on multiple counts. One, it's enabling public infrastructure. I think we were looking at a stat and we talked with Varun and the founder a few days back, is about 40% of rides either start or end at a metro. And that's really encouraging because you're using existing infrastructure much better. That should lead to less congestion in cities, just better mobility of people. And I think that's parts of the model which is very exciting for us.
All right. Kabir, you mentioned that there are 200 million potential customers who have a license to ride bikes. And Varun, let me come to you then. On your expansion plans, tell us, you currently have docked scooter rental services in about 35 cities and dockless scooters in Bangalore and Hyderabad. How many more cities are you targeting now?
So we have the
Varun,
target
if you
of
can hear
around
me?
10 large cities planned in and another 100 small cities in the docked model is planned for the coming quarters, and this will definitely be in conjunction with the profitability drive that we are going after, and the EV expansion as well.
You're adding quite a number of cities there, Varun. Kabir, let me come to you. You're going to be on the board of Bounce, and you also chair the investing committee at B Capital. Take us to the potential of the e-bike market in India, and also what do you have to say about the rising number of unicorns coming from Asia?
We like to back businesses which are, taking leadership positions in large markets and large industries. And I think what Bounce is doing is no different. I think if you look at just the stats of the commuting market in the country, it's a $30 billion market. You just think about the number of rides that are happening per day across urban cities. These are people going to offices, people coming back, often using a solution like a bike or Bounce scooter for their daily errands. And I think just the number of rides that are happening is incredible. And we were looking at some of the stats of just rides happening in some of the top 10 cities, and you're often seeing city by city, you're often doing between 3 to 5 million rides per large city. So I think the market size is massive. I think we're also looking at, obviously, the stock of vehicles that exist. Interestingly, in India, it's known as one of the largest two-wheeler market. If you look at all the stock of vehicles in the country, about 70% of them are two-wheelers. And so you really could address, how people commute to work, how someone the college-going student goes to college, how someone is dropping their kid to school. And so I think it's just a massive market that one is kind of going after. Mm-hmm. The key is really, how are you going to make it work? I think what's exciting is you need the support of kind of multiple stakeholders. You need the support of commuters that are using the Bounce vehicle and realize the great experience it's giving. And so just taking care of the vehicle, and so that's an important part. I think you need the OEMs to step in as they're thinking a bit about what is the right vehicle, and kind of as Bounce is working with some of the OEMs. You need debt and financing partners. And I think if that happens, it's pretty magical. We look at some of the interviews and some of the feedback. It's really a magical experience, and we're hoping Bounce can do this, really across the country, which is exciting. I think on your question on the unicorns, I think this is something, when I started investing, over about 12, 13 years back, I think you often saw that 80% of unicorns or kind of much more were actually just in Silicon Valley. I think now you're seeing the trend change where you see, like last year, 2019, you had about 50% of the unicorns which were from Asia. That number moved up. That same figure was about 37% from Asia about 18 months back. So you're seeing a lot of unicorns starting to kind of come to Asia. So that's a growing trend.
Sure.
But I think more importantly is you're seeing ability for companies to scale much quicker. And so what's exciting is just several exciting tech companies coming out of whether it's Bangalore, Jakarta, Beijing, parts of the US. And I think they're really scaling and transforming large industries. And that's a trend we're seeing. And we at B Capital are already banking on this whole global first approach. as tech companies kind of scale and make a dent in the world.
All right. Thank you, Kabir, for those insights. And thank you, Varun, for joining us on Startup Street. Now, also on What's Brewing, cross-border P2P payments and money transfers company MoneyGram International has entered into a strategic partnership with non-banking finance firm Lulu Money, which deals primarily in foreign exchange and global money transfers. Now, Lulu Money will utilize the MoneyGram API-driven platform to gain access to leading consumer-centric capabilities and further its global network. And to know more about the deal, I'm now joined by Alex Holmes, Chairman and CEO of MoneyGram. Alex, welcome to the show. Now, first up, you've entered into a strategic partnership with Abu Dhabi-based Lulu Money. Take us through the nitty-gritties of the deal.
Yes, we did just enter a strategic contract with Lulu Money across a number of markets in the Asia-Pacific region and into Oman as well. Lulu Money is obviously an iconic brand and one of the leaders in exchange houses and money movement. It means a lot to a number of consumers in those markets. And I think that, for MoneyGram, we're a leader in global remittance and P2P payments. We have over 350,000 locations all around the world. We have an amazing online digital presence as well in 65 markets. And so, for us, it's really all about partnerships. It's about tie-ups with leading brand names, and Lulu is a very exciting partnership for us and one that we expect to bring a lot of great things, particularly with respect to remittances here into India.
Sure. So, Alex, with this partnership, you plan to bring financial inclusion to customers through the Asia-Pacific market. How does Lulu Money and MoneyGram both benefit from this partnership, and how soon will we see this partnership roll out?
We were able to integrate with Lulu across all of their markets in less than 6 weeks, which is record time for both companies in terms of integrating our new systems and platforms. MoneyGram has spent millions of dollars over the last couple of years to completely transform our interfaces with our agent partners, completely transform the digital experience for our customers. And we're investing heavily not only in our reach across all of the send markets, but also expansion of our reach into those receive markets as well. So I think what we'll bring to Lulu is the perfect match of two amazing brands, bringing an amazing high quality service to all of our customers, and offering some of the best prices and foreign exchange rates in the business. And so for anyone looking to move money home, it'll be a seamless integration, and one where I think customers will experience a wonderful service.
Okay. So, Alex, you entered in a partnership with EbixCash last week to expand your presence in India. Tell us, what is the potential that you see for MoneyGram in India?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been in India for over 25 years. Yet, we've had good presence, but not quite the presence that we need. UP and Bihar, as an example, are areas that we could do so much more in today, but we haven't had that reach. And I think when you look at EbixCash and all the touch points, over 300,000 touch points across India alone, it's a phenomenal number. But you really need a partner that understands the local market, that understands the nuances of managing those areas. It's very difficult for us to get local as we want to, right? So EbixCash covers all of that through their travel and their payment services, through their foreign exchange services, through the iconic brand that you see every day on the radio and on the media. So, it's absolutely the perfect messaging and branding for our customers, so they can see the MoneyGram brand paired up with the EbixCash brand and really begin to understand how that money movement can be seamless and integrated and just distributed to every small town across the country.
Okay. Alex, we had Robin Raina, CEO of EbixCash, join us here on Startup Street on the day of the deal. And he said that EbixCash expects net revenues to be between $20 million to $35 million annually from this partnership once it's fully rolled out. What is the kind of growth and returns MoneyGram hopes to see from this partnership?
Well, we're really hoping, through this deal, I think to hit those numbers, we're going to be looking to more than, double, maybe even triple our business coming into India. We have the deal that we've talked about with Lulu, but we have a number of deals in the pipeline right now from broader markets across the GCC, which we'll be announcing really in the next couple of weeks. And that will completely overhaul and greatly increase the number of transactions flowing into this market. We will be expanding further across the European markets, in the US market, and Canada market, Australia as well. We've talked about Asia to some degree. So, all of this will be driving tremendous increases in remittance flows into India, all of which should have wonderful financial returns for both organizations over the coming months and years as we continue to expand and grow our partnership in a number of different ways.
So a lot more deals coming up in the near future, and we'll definitely keep a track of that on Startup Street. Well, now it's time for a quick break. Up next, it's the day 2 at the Startup Jalsa in Dharmshala. We get you all the updates from the event on the other side, so stay tuned.
Well, those were the highlights from day 2 of Startup Jalsa. We're checking in from Dharamshala. As we told you, Startup Jalsa is a 2-day entrepreneurship festival that brings in new gen entrepreneurs along with traditional investors to huddle in an informal format. And right now joining me are entrepreneurs who are in the business of content creation. And right now I have Angad of Men's XP, Satvik of Scoop Whoop, and I don't know if you recognize him, the man. Without that, so I don't know.
I am Sunil Grover, without a sari.
Sunil Grover, the actor who believes that he's not an influencer. We'll come to that in just a bit. But as I said, here we are to talk about the business of content creation. So Angad, let me start by talking to you. You set up Men's XP in 2009. This was the pre-smartphone, hype of social media era.
The desktop era.
The desktop era.
Right. I think we started building these brands on Google.
Yes.
And that was a phase when content discovery wasn't as democratic as it is right now. And I think the ecosystem's really evolved. I think content creation has moved to platforms, it's moved from text to video to multimedia, and I think there's
curation, creation, listicle, everything. You've seen it all.
Absolutely.
So let me at this point get in Satvik, who actually started Scoop Whoop in 2013, and it's a brand that everyone knows about now. Again, what I just said, curation to creation. You've seen that journey yourself, tried multiple things. Some things worked, some things didn't. Talk to us about how the journey has been so far and what has been your biggest takeaway over the past 7 years?
Yeah, luckily for us, I mean, we started when the mobile era was, and everything was on the rise in terms of mobile.
Yeah.
And you had platforms like Facebook where algorithms were working in your favor.
Yeah.
So that led to a lot of our initial success because we rode that wave really well.
Yeah.
But as Angad also said, right, that platforms come and go and they evolve. And as media companies, you have to always believe that the content that you're creating is good enough for people to consume no matter which platform they are at.
Okay.
And I think that has been the core of everything we do at Scoop Whoop.
Speaking of someone who's platform agnostic, geography agnostic, India, Bharat, everything. You have captured it all. You understand the pulse of what the audience wants, and you've been doing this via multiple things, via radio, via television, movies, and built your own brand. Sunil, let me get you in here and talk about the business of building a personal brand and staying relevant with audiences across India and Bharat.
I don't know if you call me a brand. Thank you, but I don't know if I'm a brand. I'm an artist. I perform, I act, I do my things on various mediums.
Right, but brands that you've made have stuck, right? Are relevant, are something that people, be it Sud, that was part of radio,
my
or
objective was not to create a brand. My objective was to entertain people through whatever I know. So I become characters and I entertain them. They laugh, and then if someone calls me a brand, then I should have a logo.
Is that how most influencers behave? Let me get in
No, I think
folks who are giving business to influencers out there. Is that the sense that you get, that most influencers out there think of themselves as not brands? Or
No, I think he's just being very humble. I think
Okay.
he's a bigger brand than most brands that are out there.
Right.
And like, you know, Angad was also saying, we were chatting before we went live, that he's a media company in himself.
Yes.
And what we are doing and what he's doing are kind of same, because we're trying to entertain people through our content, we're trying to inform people through our content, and there's no difference between what he's building and what we are building.
Right, so Satvik, let me just jump straight to the gun. We all know we're all in the business of content creation, and the one thing that's tough is that while it's easy to, not easy, but it's probably relatively easy to entertain, it's harder to convert those views into money. Right,
Yes.
or generate revenue. And as companies, you guys have found different avenues to do that. You know, gone are the days where you can just rely on advertisers. You've actually set up OK Tested. Talk to us about that, the fact that it's a platform in itself. Help us understand what it's all about.
Yeah, so, you know, I've said this before, and I think I've said this multiple times, that creating content is one of the easiest things in the world. Creating content businesses are the toughest thing in the world.
Right.
And I think that's something that we have learned over the last 6-7 years, that monetizing content is not that easy, and that's why we've been able to diversify our monetization across different channels.
Okay.
OK Tested is a lifestyle entertainment platform that we've launched, and what we're trying to do is convert superfans from YouTube to download the app and become subscribers and pay for that content. We believe that if you really have fans who really like your content, they're willing to pay for it.
You've actually diversified, Angad, a little more, right? You've moved beyond the content space and entered retail, started your own private label on Men's XP. Is that something that you think that is sustainable, considering that we all know how commerce and private label, it's a really tough business to be in? So you've taken a second challenge on.
I think the levers for that are twofold. One, we feel that we don't, as media companies, or at least new media companies, we don't really conform to a category as such. We don't think of ourselves as a studio business or as a publishing business. We feel that the brands that we've built with Men's XP, with IDEVA, have a larger role to play.
Okay.
So we feel that we are building the sort of the ultimate men's lifestyle platform for progressive Indian men. We're championing a cause, actually. And I feel that as avenues of retail are getting democratized, much like media did, and media continues to, logistics, delivery services, technology, it's becoming a lot more about information and trust. And I think that's essentially what we're capitalizing on.
Sunil, let me get you on here. We just spoke about two startups who have reinvented themselves again and again, but they have an entire team backing them, giving them different streams of revenue. But you're a one-man army. You're whether you want to believe it or not and whether you like it or not, you are a brand. So firstly, have you used... Have you used or may I say exploited platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter to kind of connect with brands or find newer ways to generate revenue?
The intention is not to generate revenue so far. The intention is to connect with people, because my team always tells me that you should be on social media, and they tell me you should be more active on social media. They sometimes tell me what time should I post.
And are you all confused?
No,
what is this algorithm?
I'm not confused, but I always think that if it is right, if you connect with people, they will check your post at 11 o'clock also, and they can get likes if that is the purpose.
Right.
At any given point, any given time. But the content should be good, and you should be able to connect. And this is, for me, so far I'm trying to understand. Maybe this is the future, where or maybe the present.
No, I mean, it's easy for you to say it because anything that you create, people love. But for us, because we're creating so much content and not everything is loved by everyone, we have to look at data, we have to look at trends, we have to figure out what is the right time to post what content.
Yeah.
And some of that science is what we apply to our content.
Yeah.
Do you give that much thought when you're creating content?
No, I don't actually. I just feel that, this has a potential to entertain.
So you're not thinking viral hoga, nahi hoga?
No.
None of that. But anyway, whatever, as you said...
I think studios are now thinking like that.
Okay.
I think studios are thinking like that, and maybe you would also agree with that.
Yeah,
that studios now have a bit of science in what they want to make, what they want to produce.
Yeah. So I was trying to make a funny song sometime back, and these guys told me how many likes and how many hits it would get. So I said, let's make it, let's put it, let's see how it goes.
Okay, quick closing thoughts.
I think one of the biggest, and just wrapping up from Satvik and Sunil, I think strategy for online content is moving away from being content agnostic, platform agnostic, to platform specific. So whether if it's a song, the way it manifests on TikTok and Instagram may differ in not only length but also the the character that supports it. The platforms have their own voice, and you have to essentially follow that voice.
Platforms have their own. Okay, before I wrap, Sunil, I can't let you go without a quick impression, anything, your favorite character, quickly, and you can say goodbye to our guests and we're wrapping up the show.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I today am a brand, and I didn't know. So we are in Dharamshala with the brand and little brandy. Cheers.
All right then. With that, it's a wrap. The person who did not know that he was a brand, I'm glad you got to know that here on Startup Street. We're having a lot of fun here, but we'll have to wrap up.
Start the party now.
Exactly. Stay tuned for more news and updates on the other side. Thanks very much for watching.